from DMV. Nice. All right, what's going on, everybody? We're going to talk about real estate investing in today's market. I'm going to call this the wealth shuffle. This is how I hot potatoed my way to $42 million worth of real estate without spending any of my own money.
I have Sam Primm here today. He's actually pretty well known on the internet. Faster Freedom, his company, real estate company, education company. And he has over 2 million followers on the throughout his social media platforms. I stumbled upon him through social media, and I thought, wow, this guy seems like really down to earth, and for him to have so much success, I got to get him out on here. I got to get him out here and speaking to some people who might be interested in investing in real estate for the first time, or those people who may be hesitant and maybe have some fear behind actually stepping into their power and stepping into the real estate arena. So without further ado, Mr. Sam Primm.
Well, I appreciate it. Excited to be on. Yeah, I'm just kind of like to say that I'm like just a normal dude that figured out some cool things in real estate, and I'm trying to help other people, other guys and gals learn how to invest in real estate and learn some tricks and some tips and some things that they can utilize to, kind of speed it up a little bit and not stub their toes kind of like I did. So that's what my social media journey is, just showing people actual things that I have done, not theoretical things or things that, maybe work, things that I've done that work. You see the good, the bad, the ugly. Like you said, I got a couple million on there from doing that, which is exciting. I have a real estate investing company as well. I own rental portfolio. I have run a $42 million rental portfolio. And then also I have a house flipping company here in St. Louis. So we buy and sell and wholesale houses. So I do a lot in the real estate space. I don't venture into the e-commerce space or the metaverse space or the NFT space. Or the stock market space. I just stick to the real estate space. That's what I like, and that's what I enjoy. And that's what I enjoy teaching others as well. So I'm excited to hopefully provide some good information for people to make an informed decision, which should be investing in real estate.
Like, what made you want to invest in real estate? How did you have the courage to take those steps for your first deal?
I didn't really know what I was getting into. It was more of, I have a job. My business partner, he had a job as well. And we, growing up together, we growing up friends. We had a painting business in college. So we'd always kind of done things on the sides like that. And we like to, explore being entrepreneurs, kind of growing up. So once we graduated from college, we each had full-time jobs. And the easiest thing to do in our eyes was to invest in real estate and start buying houses and flip them and rent them and just get in that space. I didn't know much about it. I didn't know anything about it. I just knew that investing in real estate was a good investment, and I wasn't smart enough to start a new app or smart enough to invent anything. So the logical choice when you have limited spare time to me would be getting in the real estate investing space if you're not a tech guru that can create some app or some widget or something like that online. So what I did is we just dove into real estate, and from there we got a first property, then second, then third. Things just kind of snowballed, and I was able to witness firsthand the power of just a few properties. And I thought, well, what would that look like to do this at a larger scale? And the only way to do that is to quit your job. So a few years later, we both quit our jobs. But for those first few years, we were doing what I think most people should do and want to do, is just invest in real estate on the side in our limited spare time, doing as much as we could. So that's kind of why I started social media, to help people, be a little more efficient in their dipping their toes into the real estate market.
Wow, that's great. So after your first deal, what could you say was your biggest lesson that you learned that you'd want to pass along to someone who's just starting out in real estate investing?
The biggest thing that I learned and that I still use today is the 80% cash out refinance method, the BRRRR method. So I was under the assumption, and most people I think are, maybe not with social media being so much more popular these days, but I didn't know you could not put 20% down on a rental. I assumed that you had to put 20% down on rental property. So I didn't have the cash to do that. So my plan was to borrow money, buy a house, fix it up, and then, because I didn't have enough money to buy the house either, so borrow money to buy a house and fix it up and sell it, and then whatever profit was left over after I paid the person back, use that for 20% down on a rental property. So I was trying to raise capital to put 20% down by flipping houses. That's how I thought you had to do it if you didn't have the cash. That I wasn't taught any other way. But during this process, I learned about the refinance method. I learned that a small local bank, they'll take out a loan and write you a check for 80% of what the property is worth. And, did your numbers right, you can take that check and pay back who you borrowed the money from. It's a way to kind of get some equity rather than putting 20% down cash. You're getting 20% equity by getting creative on, a distressed property and funding it the right way. So that refinance portion was huge for me. It's how I've done 275 rentals since then, and I was able to discover it on the first one. So it was very eye-opening.
Wow, that's fantastic.
You can buy a property for 50,000 and it needs $25,000 worth of work. So you need $75,000 to buy and fix up a house. So you borrow that $75,000 from a private lender. We can talk about them, or hard money lenders. There's lots of different places to go, but you borrow 75 grand, and then the house is now fixed up. You get it rented and you go to a small local bank, and they'll write you a loan and cut you a check, which is a loan for 80% of that. So let's say this property appraised for 100,000 because you bought it at a discount. It was distressed. You added equity by fixing it up. So it appraised for 100,000. So they'll write you a check for 80% of that, which is 80 grand. So they write you a check for 80 grand. That's enough to pay back your initial lender 75 grand plus 5 grand in interest. So they made money in a few months of lending you the money. So that's a good return for them. 5 grand on 75 grand in 3 months is a double-digit return. So they got their money back plus interest. Now you do owe the bank the 80 grand, but it's over a mortgage. It's over 25, 30, 20 years. And then the rent pays that mortgage and all owning expenses. So rather than buying a house fixed up for 100,000 and putting 20,000 down, you're buying a distressed house, fixing it up, and having that equity built in. So it's just a creative way to not have to come up with 20 grand cash.
Looking at today's market, which strategy would you choose as an investor?
It's never a bad time to buy a good deal, no matter what the market's doing, if you buy it at a discount and understand the nuances of it. But in general, if somebody's new to investing right now, I would think that the thing that would make sense would be to wholesale, because there's not very much risk there. You don't have to manage a rehab. You don't have to really get funding necessarily even. You don't have to worry about getting a tenant in place. You don't have to worry about the high interest rates. I have a ton of students that are still buying rentals right now, but that's with guidance and that's with a little bit maybe experience. So if you're brand new, I would say wholesaling. And if somebody doesn't know what wholesaling is, it's almost like acting like a real estate agent, but for investors. When you're a real estate agent, you come across a buyer or a seller and you help them. If they're looking to buy a house, you go out, look at the MLS and you look for houses that are for sale, and you bring them to the house and help them with paperwork and help them, go from wanting to buy a house to buying a house, and you get paid a fee for doing that. A wholesaler and wholesaling is doing the same thing, but for investors, you find it just, except for you're finding the property. So you find a distressed property and you sell it and help sell it to an investor, and you get paid a fee for doing that. So it's a little bit more complicated than that, but in general terms, you're just helping move along distressed properties. A lot of agents don't mess with the distressed property space. So when you're a wholesaler, you find a distressed property, you don't have to close on it. You just sell it to an investor and you get paid a fee for doing that. So that's why you don't have to worry about rehabbing. You don't have to worry about finding funding. You don't have to have a good credit score. So wholesaling is a great entry-level thing for somebody, especially in today's market.
Okay. So let's talk lenders. You mentioned that there are different types of lenders. Which type of lender do you prefer to leverage when you're, conducting a deal or looking to leverage a deal?
Yes, if you're buying, rental properties, which I'll start with that. There's 3 lenders mainly, and 2 main lending buckets that you need. You need short-term lending bucket, which is to buy and fix up that asset. So if you're wholesaling and closing on the property, or you're fixing and flipping, or buying rental properties, you need that short-term funding option, which is going to be your own cash, a line of credit on your house or on a business or on whatever you have, a private lender or a hard money lender. Those are the most common. So you need to be able to buy a distressed property and fix it up. So most likely, and my favorite, is a private lender. You can use hard money lenders as well. There's a ton of great hard money lending companies out there, but you need private money or hard money. Most likely, most people don't have, their own cash to do it. I didn't when I got started. So use a private lender, hard money lender to buy and fix up the property, and then you can sell it and be done. But if you want to keep it as a rental and do that refinance that we just talked about, you're going to need a small local bank or a small credit union, not your big national banks. They won't mess with this kind of stuff. So you can find these small local banks by talking to other investors in your area, joining your local meetups and asking who they use, or just kind of calling around and talking to, small local banks that, these community type banks, not the big banks, and see if they do, 80% cash out refinances.
What is your formula? Like, what do you, how do you decide whether you're going to actually buy a property? What's the formula? Is there a look of the property? Is there numbers involved?
we'll pretty much deal with any property. It just, as long as we can get it at a discount and, have it make sense, we'll either wholesale it, flip it, or rent it. So we do all three, which is nice. But in general, you're going to need to find property that's distressed. And the formula we use, no matter what you're doing with it, is the max allowable offer formula. So it's a great question, because somebody comes across a distressed property. How much is it worth? How much should I pay? The seller probably doesn't know. You don't know, like, what do you use? And it's called the max allowable offer formula. So you take the ARV times 70% minus repairs. The ARV is the after repair value. So you look at comps. If you're looking at a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,500 square foot house that's distressed, you need to find, 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,500 square foot houses that are fixed up and just recently sold, not listed, sold. You're trying to find out what the house is worth once it's fixed up, and the market's going to tell you, because what it's worth is what the market's willing to pay. And that's what the bank's going to do. That's what the other investors are going to do. So it's a very, very, just black or white. This is what you do. So ARV times 70 or 75% minus repairs. So repairs are going to be, all the physical repairs. You're going to need to get bids on things if you don't know, or talk to other investors. How much is the roof? How much is the flooring? Those kind of things, and your holding costs. So there's nuances to it. It's a little bit of art, a little bit of science, but basically you're going to take, what the property is going to be worth fixed up times 70 or 75% to build in some profit, and then subtract out all your repairs and holding costs. And that's what you should pay. So for that example, if that house, is worth 100 grand fixed up, times 75% is 75 grand, minus that 20 grand in repairs that it needed. Therefore, you should have paid 55,000, which is that example we talked about earlier. So that's how you're knowing how much to pay to leave enough equity or profit so you can flip it or keep it as a rental.
So when do you feel is the best time for a investor like yourself to work with a realtor? Is there ever a good time to work with a realtor?
Oh, we probably buy 75 houses a year from real estate agents. Real estate agents are the front lines of the real estate market, whether it be investing or just traditional. They're in and out of houses every single day. And a good real estate agent's probably going to do, you can, chime in here, 10 to 20 transactions a year. Yeah. If they're doing 20 transactions a year, there's probably one, maybe two that, it's a hoarder house, or somebody has to move quickly, or it's a house that's super outdated and won't pass any inspections or codes. And there's just a lot of issues with the house, or there's something going on with the person and they need a fast cash offer. Those houses are really hard for agents to sell, because they have to list them, coordinate pictures, right. And, it's going to be 10 grand in inspection fixes and won't pass occupancy and all. They're just a nightmare. So what you do as an investor is you're the easy button for that agent. You communicate with them, you tell them what kind of properties you need, you build a relationship. And if you say you have 5 agents that are top performers that understand investing, that's 5, maybe 10 leads a year, and you'll buy 1 or 2 of them. So they just bring you those bad situations. You're the easy button. You have your private lending lined up. Obviously, there's a lot of steps in between this, but you're the easy button for the real estate agent. And then, they'll bring you that distressed property, and they'll, probably, and it's very ethically and morally fine. They can get paid twice on it. If you're an agent or not, you can let them be represented so they can get the buy and sell side, so they get paid well on it. You're giving a fair offer to their client. You're not going to try and buy it for nothing. You got to offer them a fair price, or the agent will list it or go with somebody else. But then you get a distressed property. The person that's wanting to sell the house gets out of it for not having to have a million people transfer their house. And then the agent gets paid well. And then, you move on, and, hopefully they'll call you in the next one. Get a relationship with 5, 10 good real estate agents that understand the type of properties you want. And it'll take time. It'll take a year or two to develop, 10 good relationships. But if you do, that's, like I said, 10 to 20 leads a year, and hopefully 5, maybe 5 or more buys a year, all from $0 in spend. And, it's just networking like anything else. Talk to people, and deals will follow.
So what do you enjoy most about what you do, Sam? What do you enjoy most about all of this? Because it seems like you're glowing right now.
It's the okay.
It's the light.
It's the light.
You light up when you talk about real estate. It's great.
I enjoy the challenge of it. When I quit, I had a good job when I ended up quitting that. And then I've done pretty well in real estate, and got, a few different companies that are all doing pretty well. And, why I continue to do that and grow these companies when technically I don't have to, it's not about the money, it's about the impact. I get told all the time from the haters online of, if you were really financially free or made that much money or own that much real estate, you wouldn't be on, YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or, Twitter, whatever it may be. And it's hard for me to explain to them the drive that, it's not even about money. Like all these people that are way smarter than I, way wealthier than I, like Elon Musk, right? He's like the richest man in the world, yet he works 70 hours a week. He doesn't do it for the money. He does it because he enjoys the process and growing and creating wealth for others and creating impact. I'm impacting my family for generations to come with what I'm doing and the real estate that I own. I'm also helping impact students and people across the country. I get messages, pretty much not maybe daily, but at least a handful weekly of people saying, hey, I watched this video and it really helped me, or hey, I'm making money and did my first flip because of a YouTube video I watched. And then I have almost 1,000 students now that are all, not all, but the ones that take action are doing well. So it's more about the impact at this point. Obviously the money's fun and it's great to, do well, but it's not really about that. You can only, not looking to have 10 houses or, have 10 cars or anything like that. So it's about the impact. I enjoy impacting people. And I don't know where that comes from. Maybe some insecurities. I don't know, but I enjoy impacting and helping people.
So finally, what's next for you? What's your vision for 2023? What do you have? What do you see for yourself in your company, in your life?
I'm pretty confident that the real estate market's going to bottom out here soon, and not very far of a bottom. The floor is pretty high. I believe I know the market's kind of sliding a little bit right now, and that's intentional. It's nothing like '08. In 2008, it was like it caught everybody off guard, or most people off guard, and it was just like smacked everybody over the head and no one saw it coming. And it was like, a bunch of people bought overpriced houses. What's happening right now, the supply's been so low, you see it. I'm sure over the past 2 years, it's been like every house flies off. So not very many people have transacted as the houses are higher priced before they dip. So that's a big difference. And also this is controlled. Everybody's watching. It's not catching anybody off guard. The Fed is making this happen. I look at '08 as like a, head-on collision that no one saw coming. This is like a controlled fender bender. I can see it's dipping a little bit, but it's on purpose, and I think it'll bounce back pretty quickly. So I'm confident in the market next year, which means I'm confident in having some good aggressive business plans. Our goal is to buy 250 houses in our flipping business. So buy better deals. This year we bought 320, so we are planning to scale back, buy better deals. And then education is to just grow and come up with maybe some new products. My only product right now is, a rental portfolio builder. So help people do that, but maybe some new products. And then I'm starting a new investment company to kind of diversify, invest in companies outside the real estate space.
Where can people find you, Sam? And what support do you have for real estate investors?
Whatever social media, a couple of social medias you're on. Most people aren't TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, most podcast listeners. Most people don't do all of them. So if you do, great. I'm on all of them, but I would say just follow me, as much as I'd love your follow. I don't need you to follow me on Twitter if you log into Twitter once every 3 months. So whatever social media app you're on, I'm on it. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. So it's all at Sam Faster Freedom is my handle on all of them. So just follow me there. Feel free to message me if you have any questions. And then I have a mentorship and a course and things like that. But it's very, very impactful, but it's not super cheap. So I would say just follow my social media, see if you like what you see, like what you hear. And if you think you need a little bit more help, just hit me up or go to the links in my profile, or links to trainings that lead to the mentorship. So just make sure you like me, you like what I teach before you would think about spending any money, and see if you can do it on your own. And if you need more help, I got that as well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Sam. This was incredible. Thank you so much for sharing. And I wish you all the success in 2023 and beyond. And thank you again.
Appreciate being on. Thanks, Lynn.